What up, humans? Kurumi here, and welcome to the Mobile Legends Bootcamp. In this video, we are going to talk about the tank hero, Minotaur. Minotaur has a good set area of effect, crowd control, heal, and burst skills. Our Son of Minos, Minotaur, is a tank hero. I consider Minotaur as a good crowd control tank, since most of his skills could either knock up enemies multiple times, or slow them down. His passive skill makes his skills gain more effects. We will explain that later. Now, let me share some tips and tricks on how to use Minotaur based on my experience. I will also teach you some combos and techniques on the latter part of this bootcamp. But before that, let me explain his skills one by one for further understanding. Minotaur's passive, Rage Mode, lets him enter rage state that buffs him in his skills. Hitting enemies with skills or basic attacks will recover rage points for Minotaur. Receiving damage from enemies also adds rage points to Minotaur. The red bar below his health bar indicates his rage points. When the red bar is full, Minotaur now enters rage state. On this state, he gains additional physical attack, and physical and magic defense. Not only that, his skills also gain additional effects. After his rage state, he can't recover rage points or use Minotaur Fury, his ultimate, for a short period of time. Minotaur's first skill, Despair Stomp, lets Minotaur jump towards a designated location. Upon landing, he deals physical damage to the enemies in the area and reduces their movement speed. The effect lasts for a few moments. As explained on his passive skill, Minotaur gains rage points when this skill hits enemies. On his rage state, the attack range of this skill becomes much larger. This will now deal extra physical damage depending on the target's maximum health points. Minotaur's second skill, Motivation Roar, lets Minotaur motivate himself and allies around him. This regenerates certain health points to him and to allies surrounding him. This skill regenerates extra health depending on the damage Minotaur has taken. Within 2 seconds after using this skill, he gains more rage points when hit by enemies. On his rage state, Minotaur gains rage regen effect within 2 seconds of using this skill. This causes him to regenerate health points when he is hit by attacks. Minotaur's ultimate skill, Minotaur Fury, lets Minotaur recover rage points upon entering the rage save state. While holding or charging this skill, Minotaur can recover rage points. The longer you charge this skill, the more rage he recovers. On his rage state, this skill will let Minotaur smash the ground 3 times, sending shockwaves that deals physical damage to surrounding enemies. This skill also knocks up enemies hit and also reducing their movement speed. The final shockwave deals true damage which is stronger compared with the first 2 shockwaves. There are so many items that you can buy for Minotaur. You can focus on physical or magic defense items and items that gives you high health points. For me, I choose to buy items that grants health points and physical or magic defense to Minotaur. As for starting item, you can consider buying Wizard Boots. Wizard Boots grants additional health points and movement speed. Its unique passive grants 80 gold for every assist you make. Buying this will help you farm more gold with every assist. Buying defense items, such as Courage Bulwark, grants health points and cooldown reduction. Its unique passive increases nearby allies' attack power and defense. It also grants nearby allies more defense against turret damage. Its active skill increases nearby allied heroes' movement speed upon clicking, and also boosts physical and magic damage. You can consider buying Cursed Helmet and Blade Armor. Buying any of these depends on the enemy's lineup. Buy Cursed Helmet when the enemies are more of magic damage dealers. Buy Blade Armor when the enemies are more of physical damage dealers. Cursed Helmet, it gives you additional health points and magical defense. Its unique passive burns nearby targets with magic damage each second, depending on a percentage of their max health points. This unique passive deals extra damage to minions. On the other hand, Blade Armor grants you additional physical defense. Its unique passive deals 25% of the opponent's physical attack as physical damage to an attacker when a basic attack is received. It's just like returning a percentage of their attack to them. Another item to consider is Oracle. This item grants additional health points, magical defense, and cooldown reduction. Its unique passive raises shield absorption and HP regeneration effects by 25%. Lastly, you can consider Antique Cuirass. This grants you health points, physical defense, and health points regeneration. Its unique passive reduces the physical and magic attack of the enemies attacking you by 6%. The effect lasts for 2 seconds, and the effect stacks up to 3 times. The item build for Minotaur really depends on the enemy's lineup. So make sure to read each item's description so you can adapt in-game. The best spell to be used on Minotaur is Flicker. This can really help you blink yourself into your desired position and use your ultimate skill in the center of the team fight. For me, this spell is a must since Minotaur's ultimate is better when all enemies are hit. You might also want to consider Petrify. This deals magic damage to surrounding enemies and petrifies them for a few moments. This is really helpful since Minotaur is a tank and is always inside team fights. Petrifying most of the enemies will help your team deal more damage while the enemies are petrified. In my opinion, the best emblem set to be used is the Custom Tank Emblem set. Custom Tank Emblem could provide extra stats according to your needs as a tank. Set Vitality to its max level because it can give you additional health points. Higher health points means higher chance of survival during the early game. Setting Inspire to max level will provide cooldown reduction on your skills. Higher cooldown reduction means you can use your skills again faster than usual. Get Tenacity to gain additional physical and magic defense. This is triggered when your health drops below 40%. For me, it's the best thing to get since you are a tank hero. Being a tank means you need to absorb damage for your teammates inside team fights. So, you need more defense to be able to stand your ground. Set second skill to max level first. Prioritizing this makes the cooldown lower and the health points recovered higher. That means you can use this skill again faster to support allies and make you more durable. Prioritize first skill less since his second skill is what you need for supporting allies and surviving team fights. Always upgrade his ultimate skill when available for upgrading. Minotaur's Rage State is a must during team fights. Rage State increases your physical attack, physical defense, and magic defense. Without being in the Rage State, you can't use your ultimate skill to knock up enemies. Also, your second skill on Rage State makes you the most durable tank ever. So, what are you waiting for? Buy Minotaur now and experience the best tank. But seriously, as much as possible, you need to get into Rage State before going in team fights. Also, when entering Rage State, your skills cooldown are reset. So basically, you can use your skills again as soon as you reach Rage State. Minotaur's first skill helps your team slow down enemies. Not only that, its damage is no joke. In Rage State, the damage of this skill is totally massive. The enemies will feel that a comet just hit on them. Minotaur's second skill is what gives you the durability of 1,000 giants. When not in Rage State, this skill just acts as health regeneration for you and your allies. But when in rage state, this will give you the regeneration like no other. After 2 seconds using this skill, you have the ability to recover the health from attacks taken. Just take a look on how I recover the damage I am taking from the tower. That's a freaking tank for you. Minotaur's ultimate skill is what you need to reach rage state faster. When not in rage state, you can hold or charge this skill to gain rage points. Charging this skill will grant you additional half of the rage bar. So, it's best to use this when your rage points is more than half of the rage bar. Then after entering rage state, you can use this skill again to smash the ground 3 times. Smashing the ground will make the enemies knock up into the air. In terms of his combo, I usually follow a combo for Minotaur. Let's tackle on the scenario where he has rage points of more than half of his rage bar. First, I make sure to be near the center of team fight. Then, I charge my ultimate skill to reach rage state. Then, when I'm already in rage state, I use Flicker to be at the center of team fight. Then, I use my ultimate skill to knock up as much enemies as possible. Then, I use my first skill to deal damage to enemies and slow them down when they reach the ground. Afterwards, I use my second skill to activate its special effect, to recover health from incoming attacks received. Then, I just deal basic attacks and use the next available skill. Now, let's tackle on the scenario where he has rage points of less than half of his rage bar. First, I make sure to be near the center of team fight. Then, I charge my ultimate skill to almost reach rage state. Then, you can opt to flicker inside the team fight or just walk. Then, I use my first skill in basic attacks to reach rage state. It's a bonus if enemies attacks you to gain more rage points. You should also use your second skill to gain more rage points when being attacked. Then, when I'm already in rage state, I use my ultimate skill to knock up as much enemies as possible. Then, I use my first skill to deal damage to enemies and slow them down when they reach the ground. Afterwards, I use my second skill to activate its special effect, to recover health from incoming attacks received. Just look how marvelous your second skill additional effects could bring you. Fantastic. Then, I just deal basic attacks and use the next available skill. Additional tip. Never ever use your ultimate on ghosts. They are not part of the game. Don't try knocking up those ghosts, as they might come at you for revenge. The tips I mentioned are just some of the ways you can use Minotaur. This video just guides you on how to use Minotaur the Kurumi way. So, once again, this is Kurumi and that's how you use Minotaur. Thanks for watching. Do not forget to like and share this video. Also subscribe to my channel for more contents by clicking on the subscribe button below. For our skin giveaway events, check out the featured video on our channel for the mechanics. See you on the next Mobile Legends Bootcamp. Cheers.